What's going on, team? Are you guys ready to get back to the swing trading action? Of course, that's what this show's all about. Start swing trading. We'll talk about some setups that I got out of today, some setups that I got into. And of course, we'll take a look into the market. We'll try to find some new plays. I got some written down that I can take a look at. And of course, we'll run through some of the sectors and industries. If you guys have a play that you guys are thinking about, maybe swing trading action, please mention it so that we can go ahead and take a look at it. Who knows? We might just find a new trade today. You guys smash the like. Let's get, of course, swing trading started. Let's go ahead. Let's get back to the market. You guys can take a look here. SPY overall trying to get back there towards the high. We'll look to see if it gets back there towards 415 where it was this morning. Look at the 50-minute chart. We came down and just keep battling. Really, I like to keep it on the hourly. It clears things up for us. We went down there close to that 408, didn't break it, still in the hourly range, still playing in that chop. But one thing that we clearly can see is the bottoming actions have happened. If we break through 408 again, I think we go ahead and come down there towards the 400. If we're able to come back through this upper end through 414, 415, I think we could get back there towards 417 and even the break towards 420. We'll see what happens in the overall market. And of course, if we can keep kind of pushing, we don't want to see this just completely take out towards the end of the day. We'll see what happens on the day. I do have some swing trades on. Yesterday, we had Amazon during this show, right? We had it at 99 tens. It was actually 13 to be exact. And we took some profits into the 100. Was looking to take some profit as we were opened up towards 402 and 403. But today it pulled back, stopping me out at that 99. Didn't really lose on the position after that. Took some good profits and just going to continue to let it work. Like always, one thing that you always want to do is, for me, break even after I've taken my first profit. I don't like to lose on a trade after I've already made some cash. All right, well, Amazon stopping me out through that 99, but coming back right back towards that 100. And if you see right now, it's actually above 99. So maybe, quick little stop out there on Amazon. But the one that did hurt today was ITW. This one stopped me out by just a couple of pennies. We had to stop out at 74. We went to 235.68 on the first down cut. And this is when it gets a little bit harder. Why? Because of the spread. If you can see the spread on ITW, the spread on ITW is about 28 cents, 30 cents. And when this one came down today and it did its little wick attempt, it stopped me out. And maybe I got to give myself a little bit more room on the risk to return. But maybe the share size was too big in this actual play. One thing that we always need to keep in mind is kind of like the average true range. This stock can easily move 5.67 points. And what I did on this one is I wanted to risk closer towards 3 points. So maybe not looking at that ATR enough and focusing on that. On average, this stock easily moves about 5 points. So you got to be a little bit careful with ITW. Yesterday and even this morning, we were up big. If this would have kept into the trend in the morning where we were up there towards 243.72, if it could have got up there, yeah, we would have been banking on this one. But like always, I want to let you guys know first what I get stopped out in and what went great, right? Let's keep talking about what is going good right now. Yesterday, we talked about a play that I wanted to get into, which was UAL. This is our new swing trade on the day. So just want to go ahead and give you guys the outlook here. UNG, right? On this pullback, we've been looking for the pullback on the daily chart. You can see here on the daily chart how you kind of had this bottoming action around the 48s, and that's really where the gap was. So was looking to see if we could get it on this pullback closer towards 49 and then see it get back above the 50. Well, as you guys can see today, we got close towards the pushing up back towards that. We went to 49.72 after getting it there. I have an average of 49.03 on this. So still in the green right now on United Airlines. Going to look to see if we can come back up towards the 50. And like always, just got to keep an eye out on the daily because it could pull back, right? We could get through that at 48 and come back towards the 50 moving average towards 45. But this doesn't look too bad. UAL, and of course, they had really good earnings. Let's take a look at AAL. Just keeping an eye out on the airlines overall. See how they continue to perform. We'll look to see what happens with these names. Can they continue the next lift? Delta. UAL is the one that I went with just because the earnings were a lot better. But the key here for me is that it needs to get back above 50. If it doesn't do that, we'll probably get stopped out through the 48. We'll see what happens there on UAL. Catching up with the chat. What's going on out there, guys? Welcome to Start Swing Trading. I'm seeing more of you guys jump in, so definitely smash the thumbs up. Let's keep going. If you guys have names that you guys are looking at, throw them up in the chat. What's going on out there, Walter? How we doing? Easy Mike in the house like always. Let's go ahead. Bullard. You guys see what happened there. What happened to Japan? Oh, you talking a little bit about some Forex, Raj. Honestly, I don't trade too much Forex, but I do know some Forex experts. Maybe I'd bring one of those on to talk about swing trading. I know Giles Coughlin. He'd love to join me. I might have to hit him up, Raj. I'll ask him about what's going on there in those kind of when you're talking about, of course, the Forex area. He's definitely the expert, Raj. I'll ask him. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what happens. No Bullard, please. No, Bullard was earlier. I think we should be fine. What do you think about Tesla? I'll let you guys know at least really quickly right off the back what I think about Tesla. I actually did take Tesla today to the long side, but just on a day trade, right? I was just trying to catch this on the dip. I did catch a nice dip on it, right? So it came back towards that red to green look. I was able to get around here 211.50s and ride this up there towards the 217. Just to kind of put it in perspective, we took profits on Tesla. We took some profits at 214.81. That was the last out on the downside. That's when we started cracking down through here on the VWAP. But on the top move, we got 216.94. So almost back there towards that resistance of the 217.50s. It wasn't a bad little day trade. What do I think about it overall? I was thinking, do I swing like a remainder of that position up higher? Well, to tell you the truth, it's just a little bit extended from the 9 EMA. I like to catch Tesla closer to that 9 EMA so that I'm catching it on a nice little pullback day. I still think it could pull back here towards the 202. But, of course, Tesla is extended, so we could get that push to 220s. But how much further is that going to be, right? Even from where we are right now, let's say if it did make that move there from about 209s up there to the 220s, that's not going to be too much. That maybe might be like 5% up higher, maybe 10% higher. But after that, you got to be careful with Tesla. Of course, it could be buy the rumor, sell the news by the time we get to their investor day, which is going to be March 1st. All right, we'll see what else is going on. Think we see DXY to 105. That'd be interesting, definitely to keep watch. Tesla got smacked on those recalls, but really did it get smacked on those recalls? It really didn't, because this wasn't in the pre-market that it was getting smacked. It was kind of more in the intraday. That's where this happened here. And you can say that, yeah, you kind of broke the pattern there. And I think one thing, though, to keep in mind, though, is that you're doing this kind of going towards highs and then coming back down. If anything, you could start shorting up here. I shorted at the 211s and at 211.38s right here, right? And we rode that down there towards the 190s. We're right back up there. It easily could be risked off of again. So I'm not going to touch Tesla right now, but I am going to be keeping an eye on it in the next couple of days. It could just become a short again. Let's take a look at the SPY. SPY just put in a hard downside candle. That's not looking good, team. We could get some downside continuation. Like always, I'm going to stay in the UAL right now. I still got also UNG. You guys know this natural gas trade. I even have a stop set there for natural gas. That's going to be 810. That's UNG. We'll look to see if it can get back. Really didn't want to see it break 840s today. So when it started to crack, I just said, you know what? Just set the stop, stick to the original plan, and just let it work. We'll see what happens there in UNG. If it can hold this kind of down action on the 4 hours, close back above, make it towards the 875 and $9 above. We'll see. All right, let's get towards the action. Too much risk there. Too much risk on what? Shorting Tesla or on which name, Jared? All right, let's keep getting to the action. My puts look good after that late news. You got Tesla puts? We'll find out. I'm not shorting any swings in this bull market. Every dip has been bought. Yes, SRT8. The only thing is, I don't necessarily say that this is a bull market myself, right? A lot of people will have different definitions of bull markets. I have a clear one, 20% from the lows getting higher, right? So if you take a look, that's going to be a move back above 217s on the SPY. I don't see that right now happening. So I'm just going to keep watch what happens. That's 420 on the SPY. We'll look to see if we get back up there, right? Towards that 420 mark. And that's going to be the level really to watch for me. And that's just an expansion from the bottom up, right? When do we get to 20%? We get to 20% right here, right towards that kind of 417, 418 area. We've had a wick up there. We haven't had a close up there. And that's what makes it a bull market. It could easily turn right back down. And if it comes back to 390s, I'll let you know right now, the bears will be coming out and they'll be yelling. But SRT8, one thing that I know that you have been on is on that bear train and seeing what those dips get bought. So one thing that we have to do is sometimes as traders, right, especially when we're looking for the market and you have probably in that same camp looking for that turnaround, you don't need to be early in the turnaround. This is where I think that sometimes people try to call the bottoms and they try to call the tops too much. So what we really need to be looking for is that curve effect. And then that gives us something to risk off of, right? For the top, or curve effect off the bottom. And then that gives us an effect to risk off of, right? That's what really matters. You're looking for position and places where you can risk off of. Because if you can risk off of a level, well, I'll tell you right now, there's no trade that's wrong. It's just more if you have a complete plan and if you can execute it. All right, let's keep going. I'm going to take a look at some different stocks. We'll get into the market. Let's see what it's out there. He didn't say bull market. He said bulls market. I like it. I like it. Long-term bears will get skinned. I agree. Long-term, you can't always stay bearish, right? But right now, the market overall still has some headwinds out there. So we got to keep those in mind also. Lotto's puts expire tomorrow. The zero OTE options trading has gotten to a whole new extreme. So just be careful out there, team, with doing too much swing trading on ODTEs option contracts, because that's an easy way just to get wrecked, right? Easy way to make money, but also an easy way to get wrecked. And I think we all need to keep that in mind. And what is long-term? Long-term necessarily should be more of an outlook that you're looking into at least over a year. This is why I've been talking on pre-market prep that we really need to be giving our opinions a lot of the times in a short term. Short term for me is going to be this month. This month, what can happen? Right now, February, medium term or middle term, whatever you want to call it, medium term, right? Well, that's going to be more of an outlook into the quarter. What is going to happen towards the end of the first quarter, going into the second quarter? And then, of course, you need to be having that long-term outlook to be thinking about what's going to happen at the end of this year and going into next year. That's kind of the way I approach the long-term approach. Right now, I see that 24, we could run into some problems, right? But for right now, it seems like the markets are rosy. And that's what you're seeing with the dip buying out there, right? Let's go to some of these trashy stocks. Let's take a look. Overall market is starting to drop fast, team. We might have to do some reactionary trading here, team. As, of course, the market comes down here. I don't want to see it break 408, but that does not look good here. Definitely stocks that have been holding up, not looking good at all. Even my UAL trade, look how quickly it went from being up 50 cents to coming close towards break even. We got to be careful out there, team. It looks to me like we're getting an ugly close here, but we can start taking a look at some trades to see if there's an opportunity maybe there is an opportunity for us to swing short on some names. It's been a tough market, but let's get to the action. Let's go looking around as the SPY keeps dropping. Is it Bullard that's hitting us? You guys let me know in the chat if Bullard's getting us down here, but I haven't caught any comments. Let's keep it going, team. You got to be able to pivot. Always got to be able to pivot, especially as day traders and swing traders. Yeah, only because there are recalling the vehicles in Europe, and wouldn't be surprised if more comes out long on Tesla otherwise. When I get to 100K, I'll make sure to send you some cash. I'm a lone wolf in this game, and you're the only person you talk to. Well, SRT8, you feel free. You can always reach out to me at MoneyMitchBZ on Twitter. If you have any questions, we can talk about it, team. That's what it's all about, right? Well, UAL is coming back down there, and the SPY is coming down fast here, team. So just got to determine, right? What am I going to do with UAL? We're going to stick to the original trade, right? The original trade is to hold that to 48 on pullbacks. That's down here to the next layer of support. If it does crack that layer, then we can get out of the trade. That's going to be underneath this line here. So I'm just going to hold to that trade. We'll see if we get back up there towards the 50. It doesn't look bad if it gets back up there. But of course, the SPY could bring it back down. We'll see if this is a fake out to the downside, and we'll find out. All right, let's get to the action, team. We're going to go through some of these stocks, and I'm going to take a look at some of the setups that I was already looking at. But I had more long setups, right? Like one of the ones that I was looking at was this SLB, and I'll take a look there to see if this looks a little bit better for me now. Take a look at the daily chart, and you can see how we've kind of coming back there towards the 90 EMA, have made multiple attempts trying to come back towards the 58s. Now it seems to be holding kind of around 56, 55 as support. You just pulled back towards that 56 level. Let's see if we can get it a little bit lower towards 55.75 and 55.50s. And I'm not against taking a shot on this one. Just got to really kind of keep hold towards about $1 risk on the name and look for the push back there towards 58 and 60 on the upside. That's SLB Slumber J. There you guys have it. I love how you guys are bringing in, at least if you guys like it or not. And to tell you the truth, team, feel free to tell me in the chat, Mitch, SLB, what are you on? Well, just let me know sometimes, right? Like always, what it's all about is just giving opinions here. We can all go ahead and take a look at the patterns ourselves and make decisions, right? You guys choose your risk assessment. We're here to talk about the trade ideas. So if you guys have any, feel free to mention them. All right, let's take a look here. SLB, definitely an interesting one. I like the little pullback here, especially if the market's going to keep dragging it down. So we're going to look to try to get in on a little bit of a pullback here, especially if we can get back down below. Now we're below 56. Want to get closer to that 55.75 here. So let's see if we can get a little more drop before the close. SPY will definitely be on my radar. Look at the 409.77 area now. I'm actually setting an alert for me at the 409.04s. If we crack 409, team, you yell at me because we could be going through 408s today. XOM coming back a little bit. Oxy was going to take a look if there was any Warren mentions. Warren didn't mention that Oxy. We'll see what happens. Oil definitely taking a hit, and technology names. All right, let's get to another stock that I was going to take a look at, but definitely not agreeing with the outlook now, is I was watching this Zoom play. And why was I watching this Zoom play? Let's go ahead. Let's take a look. You guys can see here how we're trying to get maybe back into the gap of Zoom. I'll tell you right now, I think Zoom's trash. But overall, this market doesn't care right now, right? This market doesn't care if a stock is trash or not. And if you can see here, this looks like it's trying to get back up through the 80 spot. It could reject that, coming right back down towards 70. So you always keep that in mind, right? We'll see what happens here if we can get back above 80s. But I'm not going to take this today, but I'm going to be watching in the next day or two. If we get a big up push on the SPY back towards, let's say, the 420s, take a look at Zoom. It could be easily above 80s, going to 81 and 83. And then you'll have that kind of more of that breakout back towards the gap zone. Doesn't look too bad. Another one that I was looking at was Target. We've talked about this one multiple days now. So I'm just keeping this one on my radar for pullbacks. It doesn't look too bad, but I wanted to get closer towards around 172 or 173. If I can get it into that area, I'm going to take a little bit of a swing trade on Target to see if we finally close this gap. So many stocks have closed their gap. So I'm going to continue watching this. And remember, this gap has been there since when? This gap was there since May 17th. So keep that in mind. All right, catching up with the chat. What's going on out there? The market may be starting to care again. Very important message there. And if the market's going to care, we have to care too, right? We'll keep on watch. I'll tell you guys in a little bit. We'll be joined, of course, by my guest. Excited to go ahead and talk to Gianni de Poce. You guys know him. He's a part of Benzinga, also a part of the Mercator. Excited to go ahead and talk to him in a little bit. He has some good stocks for us coming up. So stick around there. You guys don't want to miss out. We'll be talking about even a retail favorite. You guys might know this one, CCJ. Stick around. We'll talk a little bit about those. All right, Target. We'll look to see if we get that lift there through the 180s, starting to fill it in to the upside. I'm looking for pullbacks down there towards 172, 173, where I could risk off 170. Don't want to get in here at 175. Have to risk 5 points to the downside, team, and then 5 points to the upside for the first reward. That's more of a one-to-one trade, and I really try my best not to trade one-to-one, especially on swings, because swings to me are supposed to be tighter on the risk and a bigger expansive reward, right? Where you let the trend do the work for you, not necessarily you trying to catch momentum, right? And so with swing trades, a lot of the times, I'm not going to be for any times really one-to-one trades. That just doesn't make sense for me on swings. For me, swing trading is all about not having to worry so much about the accuracy and more worried about nice setups, right? Looking for the good reward, reward to risk, looking for the good patterns, and then also trying to use some of my day trading ability to try to get the best price on that day. Pure example was how I went after UAL today, which is getting really close to coming right back down towards that 49. But out the gates, we got a quick drop, right? And I want to be able to try to attack those types of moves. Well, got into UAL today. We'll look to see if we hold here. But like always, the important part is starting to use some good risk to return to try to get a deeper move. And a lot of the times, you guys know, I'm looking at like intraday charts to try to attack the entry. But really, this all comes down to hourly and kind of daily outlooks, where I'm looking for the daily trend to continue and then just trying to catch some intraday pullbacks or something like that to get in. All right, we'll see what happens there on UAL or some other trades out there. Let's go to some stocks right now. SPY still dropping fast here. Just going to keep my eye on it. I talked about how 410s could hold, and that would be good. 409s is really where I'd start paying attention to it to see if it breaks 408s. But 408s is the area where we don't want to see the SPY let go. All right, let's keep going. We can take a look at some other names in just a few minutes. We'll have Gianni join us. He's already in the back. Excited to have him on. Let's go looking somewhere else. Let's go to the growth names, see how those are looking today. Of course, they are taking a beating. You can tell right here, right? Let's look to the right. And this chart right here, this is all the ARKK names, and there's very few that are up today. One of the ones that is up today is Roku. Super strong name. We were looking at this just a couple of days ago on PreMarket Prep, but I really don't like swinging into earnings. So with that being said, I mean, hey, Roku was a nice move, but that's if you wanted to swing into the earnings. And I'll tell you right now, I tried to do my best to get out of stocks before their earnings. Like, look at Shopify. Shopify yesterday, right? So great. Was a nice little move. We were looking to swing this one to the earnings, not after the earnings. And this is the reason why. Moments like this, where the chart looked good, you got yourself your lift back, the stock pushed, you went even up there towards 54, and then earnings hit, and bam, you're right back down to 45. So got to be careful with that outlook, right? I think that if you are going to go into a stock and hold it through the earnings, you have to be deep in the green in my eyes, especially when you're swing trading a name. I would have to be truly deep green. Let's say if I got shop at like 40s, then I might have been able to hold through the earnings. But even then, would I be comfortable today? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be too excited to see it pull back to those levels. We'll see what happens on shop. I have been watching for a long time. It did break above 40s. We got out of this one at 48 earlier this week, and it was a bad execution, but still could have been a nice little profit. But I wanted to bring it up more for that earnings concern because you just never know what comes after the earnings. All right, let's go to the stocks in the chat. You guys got any of them? I'm seeing a lot of stocks being talked about there. Tesla, I'm sure. Do we go shorting Tesla? Ooh, man, they started pounding on it there. We saw it through the kind of the 211s just a couple of minutes ago. But look at that. They're starting to pound on it. Who knows? Maybe my 211 wasn't too bad. So we did play this one to 190s. We'll look for little bounces. I'll tell you right now, I don't want to get too in front of Tesla early. I did get in front of it last time right off the highs. That was the 214s. Today, maybe some traders coming into it as this dropped and then started holding off the 213 back up towards that 217. We'll look to see, but definitely not a good ending here for Tesla by any means. Getting hit hard there, SPY down also. So we'll see what happens. A lot of these stocks have been having a nice push. Look at the trash starting to come back down, right? You got to be careful on names like especially the dash for trash, because those are the ones that are going to turn around the hardest. Carvana, right? Like Carvana was starting to come back. Well, there you have it, right back down. We'll see what happens to these names. We're going to take a look at like a coin that was so strong yesterday. Yeah, pulling back. SI pulling back. A lot of these strong names. Let's look at the AI. Ooh, this is one that I'm looking to maybe swing short. I talked about this one in 28s for the swing down. It's gotten back there towards 25. Doesn't look too bad. But the thing with these names is that you're fighting kind of more of that cult-like mentality. So I try my best to, I want to short AI because the story to me has no business being up here, right? But you always got to keep in mind that when traders get in that mode where it's just straight euphoria, you got to really be careful when you're going shorting. All right, we'll see what happens on that one. It looks like it's trying to kind of build a little bit of a trend line here. Really kind of rejected that move back to hold above 26 and coming towards 24. We'll see what happens on that C3 AI. All right, there's a lot going on out there, and it's changing up. So it's kind of hard to just take it out. There's the SPY on the 409 alert there. So just got my alert there for SPY coming down to 409s. That's not looking good, team. One thing I've been clearly watching, the hourly range, right? We break 408, and I think we start coming back down towards the 400. But enough of the market overall. I think it's time. You guys know it. I need to work on my beard again, man. It's not as good as my man Gianni coming on right now, but who knows? Maybe I can step up my game and get it back. Let's go ahead. Let's bring on Gianni the Poce. You go. Look at that beard. Look at that hair. I gotta say, the most handsomest man on Wall Street is with us today. What's going on, Gianni?
Oh, Mitch, you flatter me. It's going. How are you, bro?
Hey, always good to have you on, man. How's the herbs and the growing? Because I know that you're just not only a market man, but your gardening skills.
Yeah,
I gotta say, my man.
You know, it's coming around that time again. I got to start doing my seedlings here soon, but yeah, we're coming up.
Gianni teaches us all, right? Some farming, some market action. Let's take a look into the market,
together, man. You'd be surprised. It's all part of the one natural cycle, you know.
The seasonality coming into play, right?
That's exactly it.
That's exactly it, man. Let's talk about it. What do you first see on the overall market lately? It's definitely been a euphoric ride up. A lot of people are saying this is a new bull market. I'll ask you, because I always like to ask what people think. So what do you see right now?
Well, some definite improvements coming off the lows from October, but with the S&P, the key level with respect to resistance that I've been having my eye on is in the 40, 50, 4,200 area. So 405, 420. I think until the S&P clears that with a strong close, I hate to say it, this could be a corrective rally. That's not really my bias. I do think that the odds are pretty strong that the bear market is over. But, another key level that I want to see us take out strictly from a trend following standpoint is that high from August 2022. That's the last significant higher high that, or the last significant high that the SPY has struggled to overtake. Now, we did take out those highs from November. That's a pretty good sign, but that's in the shorter term. So short-term bull trend, intermediate term downtrend, but long-term, obviously stocks are still in a bull market. Coming into this year, a lot of people were calling for a 20 to 30% drop, but I was in the field like, we already dropped 20, 30%. I don't think we're going to necessarily fall another 20, 30% from those current levels. So I'd like to see some backfilling here, especially seeing the sell-off into the close here. That's usually a sign that sellers are winning on the day. But as long as we hold above, 380, 390, I mean, I'm not really too concerned about a resumption of the bear market at this point.
I think that what we need to kind of keep watching is, will we even get back there, right? To where we can really say that, yeah, all right, well, yeah, we're coming back into the ranges. One thing that I've clearly just said is, do we come back to that channel? If we come back in that channel, I think then that's when you got to really start being like, okay, well, maybe we're not holding here. But until we're even there, which would be kind of more like 393s, 390s, I think you got to be looking more into that kind of bullish mentality right now. And you can see it. There's a lot of FOMO out there. A lot of people just starting to get to the point where we hear it around, right? There's stocks that have gone 40, 50, 60%. And I think that for a long time, we didn't hear that for a while, right? We weren't hearing, oh, I made 30% winner. I made 40% winners. No, it was more like, man, you got 5% today. Shout out to you, man.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's the quick change that the market can do. And then what I think it starts to create is that euphoric mentality, right? Where everyone's just looking for that euphoria trade. They're looking for that big winner. And that's when we can really get caught. Now, another thing that can happen there, though, is you can ride the trend, right? The trend could be your friend. And I think that a lot of times we need to understand that with trend trading, it goes really well. The real key to trend trading, though, is limiting the downside losses, right? Because that's what's going to give you that nice wave to keep riding up. Now, I know that you brought in some stocks that we want to take a look at today, so I'm going to go ahead and do so. We can do that. If you want, you can share your screen, or we could just go off of mine.
Yeah, we can go off yours. Let's start off with LEU, Centrus Energy. I've been keeping my eye on some of these uranium stocks. Had a really nice update. Is that a daily or is that intraday?
That's going to be a daily. We can go to the intraday.
Wow, we faded off the highest quite a bit here into the close. But
yeah, man. It's the market pulling us back right now, right?
Yeah. So, one of the things that coming into this year, I had a theme called the war trade. And basically the premise was I'm looking for various sectors that might do well in a geopolitical environment that has escalated tensions to do better. And obviously uranium, for better or for worse, whether it's, substituting, for energy production from a reduction in global energy supply or, any sort of weapon capacity. I think uranium is a pretty good play on that. So LEU, if we can go back to the daily real quick, we were starting to break out from a saucer pattern of the sort. We had a pretty good, it looked like we were really starting to come out of that today, but pulling back, fading a little bit here. But I still think it's a pretty decent risk reward ratio on the long side on this one. As long as we want to start to get back below, $38, $40 a share, kind of that little support zone. Like right around there. I still think it's a pretty good risk reward ratio to the upside, especially with the themes I highlighted, coming into this year.
Definitely. I mean, it doesn't look bad by any means. I like how it came up above this 43 and then came back and hugged it. Because especially when you're getting that nice little kind of gap, little pullback too. There was a little gap here where it came right back into it on that 7th day, came right back up there. Doesn't look too bad. We'll look to see if we can hold some pullback action there, but who knows? I could see this, nice little push here. Started pushing out from that level, got a nice little turnaround there. And we'll see if we can come back maybe towards the 9 EMA and it holds those pullbacks. That doesn't look bad at all, especially with the recent action. And this is in the metals and minerals. So, gonna have to put this one on the radar. We've been seeing this one for a while, pull back there in June and July. Definitely got a spike there to 50. Look to see if we can get back to those levels. LEU, what else you got for us?
Well, I'm kind of in the camp that inflation is not over. That was another thing I was talking about coming into 2023, and I didn't think that recession was the biggest risk that we were going to face. And I think the biggest risk that stocks aren't quite pricing in fully right now is a resurgence of inflation. We kind of saw the first rumblings of that in the last 2 days. We had a higher than expected CPI number, higher than expected PPI number today. So the next stock I've been looking at, because I think that we're going to get another surge in oil prices at some point this year, is PBF Energy, ticker's PBF. We had what was looking like a bullish breakaway gap this morning, but we're fading back in with the rest of the market. So we were up like 10, 11% at one point today. I think we're only up around like 5 or 6 right now. But that one kind of falls into the category of bigger the base, the higher the space. You plotted resistance perfectly there, Mitch. Exactly where I would have it. And I'm kind of seeing a cup and handle formation. You have the cup, in the price action, in that August, September area, and then the handle starting since I think December into the last couple months. So if we start to clear that high from the end of last year, I think look out above, because PBF, this was a leader in the energy rally that we had last year, and I would look for it to resume that role again this year.
Yeah, I think this one did get a nice little push. You saw it today. It was a nice little drive back. We'll see if maybe around 44s can still hold as support. I could see it right now. It doesn't look too bad to be taking a risk off of that level. So we'll see. It doesn't look bad. And I'm looking at energy stocks myself. I don't know if you caught me a little bit earlier, but I was looking a little bit at Schlumberger here. And I could see how that's kind of like lining up there for a nice little push back towards the 60s too. And with that being said, I mean, Halliburton would probably move back through 40s. I was looking at that one a little bit earlier in the week. And I think, I'm in agreement that at least I feel that energy could still do one more massive push where, you could be surprised by it. I think eventually, some point down the line, hopefully the war will end in Ukraine and Russia, and then that will change this completely. But I agree. We could still see a push. And if we also see continued use in China, demand getting higher and higher, and we got to put the reserves back, right? We're going to have to pull some gas to put it back in the reserves. Well, maybe that gives us a little bit drive higher. We'll keep an eye on it. Yeah. Energy is dead. Probably green energy. I hear you on that one. Yeah, green energy probably dead right now, at least for the time being.
I just think all energy is bullish. I mean,
Yeah, all of it. I mean, have you seen some of those solar charts, man? Come on, man.
Yeah, they're off their highs. But, Mitch, you'll probably find this interesting too. If you compare a lot of these oil stocks to the price of crude oil, the spot price of the commodity, crude oil is down about 30% from its highs last March. A lot of people, if you said, crude oil's been correcting for almost a year, they'd be like, what? What do you mean? But that's what's been happening in the spot price of crude oil. But if you look at a lot of these energy stocks, the oil stocks, they've consolidated near their highs. And that's bullish price action. That's relative strength. So that tells me if oil resumes its bull market, we're going to see outperformance from the oil stocks.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty decent decline as of late, right? And I've seen for a while now, I've been watching. I'm like, well, can we get into the 60s? Well, it certainly doesn't seem like we want to go there. We've been there 3 times already towards like 72 on WTI, and it just doesn't want to break. And usually when I look at the same thing, right? If a stock doesn't want to break resistance for a certain amount of time, it usually comes back and tests support, right? Yeah. Same thing for the other way around. If we keep testing support, we don't want to break that way. A lot of times we curve back towards the resistance, and that could be above the 80s. And above 80s, these companies are going to keep killing it out the water. So we'll see what happened. I saw Goldman Sachs said that they saw 100 a barrel towards the end of the year. And if that happens, inflation could be.
If I told you my number, you think I'm crazy, Mitch.
Yeah? What you got? What you got?
I have crude oil at 140 a barrel by December.
I'll tell you one thing. It's going to be an ugly talk with my man Jerome Powell, the big bad wolf, if that happens.
Yeah, I think the Fed's trapped, honestly.
Yeah, that might be why they're not going too crazy and just pivoting too quickly, right? I think that's also a smart thing that they keep saying. They're like, well, we're going to take it easy.
Yeah.
Take it easy. And I think that's actually smart because at the end of the day, yes, they probably waited too long to hike rates.
Sure.
Well, they're probably going to do the same. They're going to wait too long to cut the rates. So I wouldn't expect to see those rates cut anytime soon. Let's go to a couple more. I know you got one or two more for us. What you want to look at?
Okay, so this next one is a little bit of a different style than I normally do. Usually, if you look at the setups that I share, it's stocks consolidating near multi-month or multi-year highs. But this next one, I really like the story, and it does look like it's building a bottoming pattern. And it's Rocket Lab, RKLB. So you obviously can't invest in Elon Musk's SpaceX company, but Rocket Lab is kind of a similar one. And I'm eyeing an inverted head and shoulders formation. And we're kind of coming up on that neckline there. It looks like we're hammering out that right shoulder right now. And they've been trying to launch a rocket. They haven't had too much success, but they are experimenting with it this year. And with a company like this, they really are one successful rocket launch away from booming, in my opinion. Not to mention, they do have some nice contracts with the Department of Defense for satellite imagery and other, contracts in the defense sector. So, kind of a multifaceted company in that regard. But again, this kind of ties into the whole war trade theme that I've been talking about. And, don't be surprised if they get some lucrative government contract if they're able to get a rocket off the ground this year.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that I would say that, it's just about asking more and more. I think in this case, especially if you're kind of maybe on a swing trade, you're a little bit tighter. But as an investor on Rocket Lab, I would say, well, now it's not as bad, nowhere near as when it kind of had this peak, right? Like where it was like 15 or 20. What's the downside action? It's kind of like an option bet right now. I got $5, right?
Yeah.
And if you think about it in that case, there could be a lot of upside to a company like this. And I'm pretty sure that Rocket Lab was a SPAC, if I'm not to be too incorrect there. I think that an important thing that I've been talking about is that I know that the SPACs have been forgotten, but there will be some of these that will come back. And I think they were going to be an amazing opportunity that we got an opportunity for. I know that a lot of people still look at like a SoFi as one of those examples. I think eventually some of these companies, we're going to be looking back and being like, it was a great opportunity. We just need to kind of keep an eye out for. So Rocket Lab.
Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic, similar category, SPCE. That was a high flyer one too. Similar thing, They're trying.
It hasn't been doing bad as of late too. So something that we want to keep watch, right?
And they're heavily shorted, so they're candidates for short squeezes.
Definitely heavily shorted for sure. I remember there was one I liked in this space, but it already got bought out, which was Maxar for a while. I like that one. Why? Satellite contracts. Contracts are not a bad thing at all. So we'll look to see if Rocket Lab can get another contract. And of course, if it can just keep pushing, let's say if it can take towards here, right?
That's exactly
Get back through that high, right? Towards 550, going towards that 6. It ain't going to be looking bad at all. We'll look to see if we get a nice little volume increase into that move. Rocket Lab, baby. Not too bad. There you go. Bringing some different names, Gianni. And one of the things that I definitely want you guys to do is check out all the things that Gianni does. He does a lot. So I'm going to give you a second, actually, Gianni, to talk about certain ways that traders out there can keep following you on different trades, whether that be from Benzinga or to your personal profile account, whatever you want to go ahead and talk about.
Yeah. Thanks, Mitch. So if you like what we just talked about, I would encourage you to check out my work at Benzinga. I have a chat room that I run, the Inner Circle. And then also what's become a very popular report that we've built out over the last year. It's the weekly insider report. So we're doing a macroeconomic overview, throwing in a couple stock ideas and a broad sector analysis, more geared for the longer term oriented investor in that case. But in many instances, a lot of the stocks end up moving pretty quickly. So if you enjoy macro analysis, if you enjoy ratio analysis, we do a lot of ratios in that too. Talk about structural, developments in the economy with respect to inflation, liquidity, all that kind of stuff. I would definitely encourage you to check out the Insider Report. So that's been a pretty popular publication over the last year.
Oh yeah, I hear it in the chat there. Yes, it's the best. They love it out there, man. And that's what it's all about, truly. And there's a reason why you guys hear Gianni talking about this. And I'll tell you guys from personal experience, I myself even reached out to Gianni to learn more about this side because I want to get better about it. And I think that that's really what it's all about. It's always looking at your peers, looking for people that are really supporting the community and trying to educate. I'll tell you, Gianni is definitely one of the best. So definitely check him out. Give him a follow. Just threw up that link on the Twitter so you guys can click and just hit the follow. We'll bring you back, Gianni. Appreciate you coming on today.
Thanks, Mitch. Always a pleasure. See you next time.
Awesome. Have a good one. And I'm going to be looking for some of those good farming goods. I'm going to have to come up and visit you.
Please
That's
do.
one thing I definitely want to do.
I'll put you to work.
Definitely. Yeah, I got a little. We'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
Have a good one, my friend. We'll bring you back on.
All right,
good
man.
to have
Thank
you on. All right. That was definitely fun to talk about some different stocks, and we'll see what happened. Let's get back to the market because this is coming down fast, right? Let's take a look here. We're at on the SPY now. Look how we come right around 408.32s. I'll tell you one thing. If they wanted to put the pressures on the bulls, they're doing it, team. They're doing it. They wanted to put a little pressure on them. They put the pressure on them here. It went right back down towards those 408s. We'll have to look tomorrow. If we're by, let's say, 405 towards the open, yeah, I won't be looking for too much upside action. I'm going to start looking for back towards 400. And then from 400, I do think we could bounce, right? I mean, 400 is going to be a clear kind of psychological level that the bulls will try to defend. We'll look to see what happens. Really, it doesn't get dangerous until you come back towards like 390, 393. We'll see what happens on the SPY, but be careful on names that have run, let's say 50, 60, 70%, because those are the names that can really get crushed. Mark Chaikin ruined Valero. Nah, man. I mean, we've been calling Valero for a while. I don't know if you guys watched the show that I did before Start Swing Trading, which was Stock Market Movers. And we were calling Valero kind of in that October time when the kind of the diesel prices were starting to rise. Then we got this quick decline in December. We went right back to those levels in January. So it's okay to get a little bit of a pullback. I don't think there's anything wrong with Valero. I think one of the things with Valero that you want to be watching for is pullbacks to the trend line, especially off the monthly. Look how this 9 EMA or 9 monthly EMA can really kind of pull back towards that and hold. Look for maybe it to come back towards maybe 125. Then gets that next lift to 140. I don't see Valero too bad. Let's go to Slumber J here, see where we're pulling back. Did we get there towards 55.76? Didn't get the fill there at 55.75. I was wondering. I know I got close there, but didn't get the fill. I had one order out there at 55.75. Was going to order in towards 55.50. I'll probably have to just do it tomorrow. I'm going to keep an eye out on Slumber J. Definitely a move back above 56.50s will get me excited there. We'll set a little alert. And you guys in the chat, if you guys want to keep up with all the trading action, don't forget, we still got live trading, right? Live trading is the show that we do in the mornings from 9 a.m. to about 11 a.m. Sometimes you guys hear it. I've already taken a swing trade on the day. I'm sometimes not going to wait. I'm going to take my shot. But that you can catch on live trading. So we're going to keep growing the family, right? We got the live trading family that focuses on day trading and swing trading. Here, we're mainly on the swing trade action. We're looking for the setups that are looking good. We're going to take a second here for stocks from the chat. So if you guys have any more that you want to take a look at, keep throwing up in the chat, and I'll definitely go ahead and run through them. Google's been pretty steady, and it has bottomed. Well, Google came down faster, right? And so one thing to keep watch is that 95 level. We pushed above that level yesterday. We got to 97. Today, we went down there towards 94, 97. That's an important level to watch for, 95. It needs to hold that 95. If it does, it could push right back towards the 100. But one that I'd be careful with is Microsoft. Look at this turnaround. I talked about this. There's a long-term trend line that we rejected multiple times. Last time we rejected this, it was in December, and we came all the way back to 222, about 14% off those highs. We got to be careful here with Microsoft. Did we break the AI trade today? And that's why I looked at maybe potentially shorting a name like AI. Be careful with those AI names right now. I know they have been getting some lift, but they very quickly, the story could turn around just like it did for the metaverse. We'll see what happens today. And glad I didn't fight some of the trades. I had like BTU earlier, team was able to take some profit into the 30s and up here towards 30.25, the high of the day. I wanted to kind of hold this and swing it, bring it to you guys. But right before the show started, it stopped me out, break even on the rest. And you guys know my rule. Once I take some first profit, I don't want to lose on the trade a lot of the times because that's going to keep me balancing and fighting on. Like always, one of the things with swing trades, you want to go ahead and think about it in the next 50 trades, not necessarily one trade. All right, coin being mentioned in the chat. Coin was a day trade for me yesterday. Might have been a better swing trade than a day trade yesterday, but it is pulling back. To me, what you need to be watching in coin is not coin at all. It's watching more SI because Silvergate got the push, right? Citadel mentioned. That's what pushed it up higher. But look how it comes right back down today. Look to see if we can get back up there towards 22 and 24. But if we go back to 14, I think coin comes right back down. So just keep that in mind. MSTR, same thing. MSTR is going to do probably the same thing. You see it pulling back today. A lot of that with the sympathy of SI and coin, it's going to be pulling back. Also, take a look at Bitcoin stocks, right? If Bitcoin stocks start coming down, the miners, look at Mara pulling back today. You got to be careful out there. All right, let's keep going. There's one more that I'll take a look at. BTTO. This is Bitcoin strategy ETF. This one actually doesn't look too bad there. Pro shares. But of course, remember, Bitcoin, I think, will get some lift. But will it keep coming back to, let's say, 60,000? I don't see that. But this is one that I'll keep on mind to maybe take some swings sometimes. I appreciate you bringing this one up. New trader? I don't even know. Maybe I got it right. New trader. BitTo. I like this. Pro shares Bitcoin strategy. Doesn't look too bad. Will you fill the gap to the upside? If you feel that we're going to continue going up in the market, this doesn't look too bad, the kind of approach. We'll look to see if we get it back there. And that's to move towards like 1755, 18s on the upside. Let's go to the SPY. SPY overall, is it bouncing there? Oh, it's going lower towards that 408. We got to be careful there. UAL right off of my entry now. Came back lower than my entry. Going to keep watch on this one. Not going to let it break the 48 level. We'll see what happens there. UNG not closing great here. 810 is going to get me out on that one. We'll see if it comes back. But it's been a tough day for sure with the move in the market. We'll see what happens. That was not a good end of the day, team. And this is how quickly we can get out of this hourly range. And if we do get out of the hourly range to the downside, let's say towards that 405, you got to watch out. Tesla. Now down to 202. It's crazy to think so. But Tesla's getting hit hard here, team. We might see some traders start to let go. Another thing to keep on watch on Tesla, do we start to close below the 9 EMA or do we hold there? 9 EMA, 199. We haven't had a close below that since Monday's price action. So we'll keep watch on that to see if you get a close back below there. But overall, you can see you went below it. You didn't even close it because the close is up here towards 209. So you're not closing below that 9 EMA at all since this run. Keep your eyes on that. That's that light blue line, 199.81. We'll look to see if we actually close below that. It's a trap. It's a trap, says SRT8. SRT8, if you really got an SRT8 challenger, we got to have some fun, man. We got to have some fun. I miss having a manual. I miss just burning some rubber. Can't blame me, right? All right, team. We'll see you next time. Like always, keep up with us on all we do on Benzinga. You guys can keep up with me at MoneyMitchBZ, only on Twitter. That Instagram guy. I don't know who's copying me out there, but be careful out there, team. We'll see you next time. Check us out tomorrow morning. Pre-market prep, 8 a.m. Eastern. That's where we get into all the market action. And, of course, we got Dennis Stick, Joel Alcanan on there. We'll see what happens after the bell today. there will be some stocks reporting, right? Just keep your eyes out there. Cisco. No, today's Thursday. We got Applied Materials. Let me put this a little bigger so I can see it. Applied Materials, Con Edison, DoorDash, HubSpot, Dropbox, the DraftKings. You know what? We're gonna take a shot here. Let me go for this. All right, guys. I'm gonna take a shot to the short side here on DraftKings. Just got in there, 1772. I'm taking a shot. Short the DraftKings report. I don't swing into reports often, team, but the way that the day's looking and the way that the stock has been, I think this stock has run too far. We'll find out. Do I get crushed in DraftKings today? I took a smaller position, nothing too crazy, but we'll find out on DraftKings. Just got short it, got the 1772. We'll look to see what happens. Their report tonight. What do you guys think? Do I get it green on DraftKings or no? Put a 1 if you're bullish, DraftKings. Put a 2 if you're bearish, DraftKings. We'll have to find out. 6-speed, baby. Ooh. Looks like the big guy wants to close below the 4100s. We'll see what happens there. What do you guys think about DraftKings? Put a 1 if you're bullish. Put a 2 if you're bearish. We'll find out tonight. Report comes out after the bell. Ooh, that's going to be a fun one to watch. Might have been better to get it into the 18s, but hey, to each his own, right? This morning it did go down there towards 1748s. We'll see what happens. Was there a lot of gambling? Will this report drive it higher? If it does get up there, about 20 is where I think it goes on the upside. Downside, probably back towards like 16 or 1650. We'll find out tonight. That earnings report and what else will go on. There's some numbers. I see ones. There's a lot of bulls out there. There's my bears. We'll see what happens. It's an awesome day of trading. That's for sure. Lucky you, Garcia, and lucky us. It's going to get a lot of movement out there. There's the bears coming in. All right, that's going to do it for me. I took a shot there on DraftKings towards the close, and look at the SPY towards 408.22s. Not what you wanted to see if you were a bull. We'll find out tomorrow what happens. Smash the like if you guys enjoyed Start Swing Trading, and let me know, what do you guys want to see? Or is there any trader out there that you want to see right here on Start Swing Trading? Especially those swing traders out there that you might have not seen on Benzinga. You guys can always reach out to me, Mitch at Benzinga, or hit me up on my Twitter. Let me know. Bring this trader on. I'll reach out and make sure that we bring them on. See you next time, team. Hit the like on your way out.